have 300 participants joining us. We have 40 elected officials, including 7 mayors. This really is a private-public partnership of the business community, the labor community, and civic leaders coming together. And this year we'll focus on jobs and business growth in the 6-county region to advocate on solutions to improve small business and federal funding of infrastructure projects, many of which align with the Obama administration policies. We're carrying 91 policy papers, over 13 policy teams. We have nearly 200 meetings currently scheduled with members of Congress, the Obama administration, and other federal officials. And we are not just going back to meet with our members of our delegation. We're meeting with key congressional office holders, their staff, and administration officials. Our 2010 priority issues have been developed over the course of the last 12 months through all of our committees. Our priorities are in jobs and business growth to ensure the region has the access to the financial and human capital to eliminate barriers for business so they can remain competitively, globally competitive. Second, flood protection and water resources. We want to secure the immediate funding to provide the region with 200-year flood protection and advocate for the streamlining of the regulatory burdens that prohibit some of this protection, and to provide for the region's water resources, supply, water quality, and environmental resources. Key priority is also in transportation, to advocate for balanced transportation solutions that improve our region's connectivity. This includes transit projects, transportation products, bike and pedestrian as well. And last but certainly not least, we're focused on energy efficiency, building energy efficiency systems and innovation in our region so we can build out our region in a more sustainable manner. All of our policy papers can be found on metrochamber.org/cap-to-cap on our website. You can get actually an electronic copy of our binders so you can see all of the policy priority and all of the issues. We've had significant success with cap-to-cap in the past. We've brought home millions of dollars for flood protection, millions of dollars for transportation. We've brought home grants for education and workforce development for Los Rios, Sac State, UC Davis. We got Smog Check 2 implemented in the Bay Area to help improve our air quality in the Sacramento region. And most recently, just yesterday, we learned that the FAA designated Sac City College as an air traffic control school. And we've been lobbying on that issue for many, many years. We just got word that they approved that yesterday as well. So cap-to-cap is not just going back one day or over a course of a week, but it's, federal legislation and appropriations take diligence, and it happens over a several-year process, and that's what cap-to-cap is about. Now to talk about probably some of the key transportation and sustainable communities initiatives is Mike McKeever, the Executive Director with SACOG. Sweet shift.
Thank you. Let me add just a little bit of detail on the transportation side. One of the trends over the last 2 or 3 years in particular is that the action at the federal level is moving more and more to the agency level in the executive branch and away from congressionally directed or also known as earmark funding. And so the Metro Chamber and its family through the cap-to-cap have also changed their emphasis there. And for sure we're asking for some important earmarks for this region, but we're being very proactive in advocating on some key policy areas on the transportation side. One is that what's called the transportation bill is being reauthorized as we speak. It comes up for reconsideration every 6 years. And so we have a broad regional consensus on what that new bill needs to look like. And it needs to be more performance driven. It needs to do better at rewarding the regions that are truly integrating their land use and their transportation and their air quality planning. And it needs to deal with some of the performance issues that we have paid a lot of attention to in this region, shifting to transit and cleaning up the air and dealing with global warming. The fact that we have a broad regional, nonpartisan consensus around those issues is truly remarkable, and the Chamber deserves a lot of credit for leading that process. Also on the policy area, as both mayors have mentioned, the federal government has a new program they call the Sustainable Communities Initiative, and they very much are looking to the Sacramento region as an example to encourage others to emulate. That puts us in a position to play offense on this issue, to help shape the program, hopefully to be in line to get the money to continue our agenda of innovation here. And so we will be meeting with top officials at the Department of Transportation, HUD, and EPA to work on the shaping of that program and to encourage the Congress to fully fund it, because we very much view it as in the interest of this region, in fact our broader state, for the federal government to go to that sort of truly integrated planning. In closing, as has been mentioned also a couple of times, it's hard for people that are in the local area and in the local media really to see this firsthand, but the culture of collaboration that has been built in this region really is truly remarkable. You have local officials, mayors meeting, the fact that Mayor Johnson so obviously got this and started meeting with the regional mayors practically from his first day in office is a part of building that strength of this regional family. And so we're just very, very appreciative of that, and I think it really leads to a bright future for this region. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, any questions for the big three behind me here?
Yeah, for both mayors, I guess. Are there specific projects or programs that you're trying to get funded on this trip, or you have kind of a goal in mind?
Yeah, I mean, Matt hit a lot of the priorities of cap to cap. I'll just hit one and then let Mayor Cabaldon also address it. You know, we're talking about kicking off a green initiative, and there's so much work that's already been done in the green space by the folks behind me and their organizations. But I felt green tech and clean tech is an opportunity. There's so much talk about energy dollars and transportation. I really think one of our competitive advantages, other than us collaborating as a region, is really going to be able to take advantage of our geographic area and some of the work that's already being done with small startup companies and so forth in the space of clean and green tech. So that, to me, is what's on my radar. Mayor Cabaldon?
We're obviously very strong supportive of the whole green initiative region-wide. We're both cities and actually all the partners in the region are also working on lots of just nuts and bolts, blood and guts projects. Whether it's a levee improvement here, we've got a couple of those that are on the list. We're trying to deepen the channel at the port so we can move more goods around and support the industrial and commercial economy in the region. So it's both around advancing the broad vision for the region so that we can get better and better, and also funding some critical projects. Right now, with the economy in the shape that it is, the federal government is one of the only games in town. And so those sorts of a few dollars here for an interchange, a couple dollars there for a levee are really critical to keeping people working, but also maintaining our basic infrastructure and our competitiveness here in the region.
When we had the Region 9 Summit and brought EPA and DOT and HUD together, we showed them the rail yard project, Township 9. We chose 2 or 3 big projects that are infill projects that tie to sustainability and smart growth and transit-oriented development, and they were just amazed on our projects. But we were also saying, if you look on the other side of the river, there are similar projects in West Sacramento, and we have projects that we felt would be great places for them to invest dollars, where our commitment is to put people to work in our greater region.
Any specific lawmakers you're hoping to meet with, or?
Well, the cap is bringing in Leon Panetta is speaking, I believe, at a breakfast, and then at lunch you're getting Secretary Chu, who has the energy department there. So those are 2 big headliners that I believe cap has coming in. There's a host of meetings that, you know, they have all these different policy areas, so different groups go out and meet with different federal, you know, officials depending on what their policy areas they signed up for. For me, in addition to what's going on in cap to cap, I've been able to, you know, create very good relationships with a lot of the secretaries back in Washington. So on this trip, I'll be meeting with Secretary Napolitano, who's the head of Homeland Security. You know, we all believe that public safety should be a top priority in our community. We in the city of Sacramento do not have the staffing ratios that we'd ideally like. We were lucky enough to get $12 million last year to put more, you know, cops on the street, but yet the county didn't get any dollars. So my job is not just to lobby on behalf of the city, but our county and our region in general. I will also have a private meeting with Sean Donovan, who's the Secretary of HUD, and that's a twofold. That's the housing, affordable housing piece, but it also ties to homelessness. So those are the 2, probably, I'm meeting with a U.S. Treasury person as well. So those are my 3 meetings.
With the